Let's make some noise. Come on.
Oh, thank you once again, Nick Foles, for that great introduction. Absolutely. Let's make some noise, folks, because it's the final word. It's back. Our broadcast week has begun. Welcome, everybody. And what's going on here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network? Your boy, MattyB, coming in under the gun of 10 o'clock, man. Good God. I thought I was going to be going on the air at 10:30. Then I was like, okay, the game's ending up early. Mike probably going to come on and do a very abridged version of the Fighting's final because there's really nothing to talk about in a game like this. So I set it for 10, and I'm like, you know what? Hey, I get to go on before 10 o'clock. So that means maybe I can get to bed at a decent hour tonight. Welcome back to the final word. At the start of a new week for us here, a very quick week. Very, very quick. Tonight, tomorrow, and that's about it. That's right. We're going to do a 2-show week. Other obligations are pulling me in a couple different directions. I got post-game obligations on Wednesday. Yes, it's a 4 o'clock start or 1 o'clock start time, but I will not be able to deliver the post-game show until about 8 o'clock because I have professional obligations I got to attend to. And then on Thursday night at 8, the Birds Blast will come back, making its unofficial Season 6 debut here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. The Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. We're going to debut the I say unofficial Season 6 because it's still technically the post or the off season, and I don't want to jump the gun. We will come back officially at the end of August to launch Season 6, but I guess we can call it a check-in show, but it's not Season 5 and it's not quite Season 6. I don't know. Call it Season 5B, 5.20. I don't know. But anyway, you're not going to want to miss this because I'm going to have an opportunity to uncase free agency, the draft, and then the schedule release, which is leaking all over, leaking like the Titanic on a warm spring night in the North Atlantic Ocean right now as games are being sent out all over the place. We already know 3 confirmed games that the Eagles will play. We're going to talk about them tonight. I'm going to explain how I think it's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace that the NFL is doing the Eagles the way they are for the home opener, the season opener on Thursday Night Football, September 4th. It will be the Eagles and Cowboys. I totally hate that. I cannot really put into words how much that's displeasuring to me. Yeah, and we'll get into that. So we'll definitely talk Eagles tonight, but don't forget on Thursday night, we're going to be talking nothing but Eagles. So make sure you're there. And so that's why I'm only going to be doing 2 episodes this week. So tonight and tomorrow. So you better be here because if you blink, you're going to miss the final word for the week. I really mean that. As we're streaming through the month of May, officially at the quarter mark of the MLB season. I'm going to talk about how that depresses me that we're already a quarter of the way through the season. We're going to get into some other type of conversation tonight, but obviously we're going to continue the Phillies conversation. We got a new segment tonight. Man, I am super psyched about the new segment. We are going to debut on this program here tonight another one of MattyB's lists. That's right, tonight. Inspired by Barbara, who's a regular contributor to this show and this network. Thank you for that, Barbara. We are going to debut MattyB's all-time worst Phillies trades. Top 10 worst Phillies trades, according to me, starting tonight. We're going to do a trade tonight. And by the pace of the show that we're doing this week, with only 2 of them, we should finish sometime around Thanksgiving. Now, we'll get through it pretty quickly. So we're going to debut the 10 worst Phillies trades in history, according to me. We also have our Day in Philadelphia Sports History, our Of the Night segment, and our card review, all those great and wonderful, wonderful things that make this show this show. So let's get it going here now. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Strap it in, strap it on, strap it up. Keep your hands, feet, and head. That's right. Keep your head inside the car at all times, and let's roll here on the final word. Before we do that, though, you guys are already killing me with this, and now let's get into some of the comments. Steve, how you doing, Steve? I don't see you around much these days, man. You need to start being more of a focal point here. Can you not swing the late hour? But I think you can. You're a grown man. That's what the Phils against a team playing well with a good closer looks like. They got their pants pulled down in the ninth. Do not sugarcoat it. Steve, have you met me? I mean, are you really asking me not? Steve, are you really asking me that? Are you telling me not to sugarcoat it? Are you telling me to put down my Homer glasses and put down the Kool-Aid? You're telling me this? Steve, let me introduce you to myself. I'm MattyB. How are you doing? Steve, you're 100% correct. Tonight, especially that ninth inning, there was all bunch of things wrong with this game. There was a whole bunch of things wrong with this game. And it's not something that's been new, right? This is nothing that this is not something that's new. Lack of offense, lack of sustained, consistent offense. We got serviceable to solid starting pitching by Chris Sanchez tonight. He did well. Maybe not the most lockdown performance, but I'll take it, because, again, this starting rotation has never been the problem for me, and I don't think it's going to be. I think most Major League Baseball teams would prefer this rotation. So 100% agree with that. But the offense is just not there. It's not there consistently enough. It's not there. It's not there consistently enough. And it's like the world's oldest broken record at this point. Round and round and round we go. Where it stops, only Rob knows, because he's the only one who has the key to this, right? Game after game, season after season, we're up and down like this, and there's never any kind of sustainable progress made. You get the flashes in the pan, you get the offensive outbursts from time to time. They were playing small ball for a very good portion of the games after the Mets series, leading up into the Rays series, but that kind of went away. And offensively, with the exception of Saturday night, offensively over the last 6 games, the team's been non-existent. Against the Rays in that season finale that they had, or series finale, they had an outburst at the end of the game. Sunday night or last night, there was no offense. It was Kyle friggin' Schwarber. Tonight, once again, no offense, no sustainable offense, and it's almost like you don't even got to watch the games anymore. All you got to do is look at the box score and take a quick glance. Two runs on 9 hits, 1 for 7 and with runners in scoring position. That's all you need to know. You can connect the dots from that point on. That's how bad this has gotten. That's how repetitive this has gotten. And I know the popular vernacular is insanity is the definition of something you do over and over again. It doesn't work. That's actually not the definition of insanity, but in this case, it applies because it's the same thing over and over and over again. That ninth inning, as you so adequately state there, Steve, they had their pants pulled down. It was one of the worst offensive attacks that I've ever seen. Helsley, I mean, it was just not even close. Brandon Marsh standing up there looking like a fool. It was almost like Bugs Bunny against the Gas House Gorillas. You guys remember that episode? 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. 1, 2, 3. That's exactly how that went down. And it was pathetic, man. Pathetic. But yet tomorrow night or the night after that, whatever, there's Marsh back in the lineup. We're still platooning him and Rojas. Alec Boehm still is getting his opportunities night after night, day after day, season after season. It never changes. The bullpen without any roles. I'm really at the end of talking about that. I can't stomach it anymore. What do you got? Kerkering, and then you got Strom coming in there at the end. What is Strom doing in that situation? I just, at what point, man? At what point are the faithful of this fan base, man? This absolute passionate, diehard fan base who lives and dies pitch after pitch, game after game. Are we just going to have enough? Everybody out there, you're going to hear it from a whole bunch of different people. Homers, non-homers, rational, irrational fans alike. And they're all going to tell you, yeah, I think they can win a World Series. Well, most of them will tell you, I think they can win a World Series. But deep down in their hearts, they know they're not going to win a World Series. This team is not a World Series team. This team is a 89, or I say 88 to 92 win team that's going to bail out in the playoffs because, once again, the same problems are going to manifest themselves in 2025 that manifested in 2024, 2023, and then 2022. there's not going to be that much of significant change in order to change the outlook of this season. It's the same thing. It's Groundhog Day with this baseball team. Game after game, year after year. If you're not looking at this team right now and thinking to yourself, boy, I've seen this before, you should be, because you have. You saw it in 2024. You saw it in 2023. And you saw it in 2022 to a certain extent. They had something else going on in 2022 that carried them along the way. They don't have that factor anymore. There's that factor is gone. But you should not be concerned if you think to yourself, why I've seen this before. Because you have. Absolutely have. You've seen it before. And until significant change is made, it's going to be the same result. They're going to get to the playoffs and they're going to bail out. And that's how I'm going. That's the ride I'm taking right now until I see otherwise. And those of you out there that are politicking for the trade of Helsley and Nolan Arenado from the Cardinals, because I know he's a hot name that's going to go around and round circles during the trade deadline. Buyer beware. The Cardinals ain't going to let them walk for free. The Cardinals are going to, especially those two, they're pillars of their teams. And the Cardinals, I think, after tonight are a game out of first place. So we're assuming that the Cardinals are not going to be in the pennant race by the trade deadline. Okay, so say they're not, which I think they will be, but say they're not. Then you're going to factor in what it's going to cost to get one, if not both of them. Both of them is a price that I'm not willing to pay. It's going to strip out our minor league system. Because, if you want both of them, say goodbye to Painter, say goodbye to Crawford, say goodbye to Miller, say goodbye to the top three. They're going to go if you want both of them. If you want one or the other, say goodbye to either Miller, Crawford, or Painter. Because one of them is going to be involved in that trade. So for those of you out there who think that Nolan Arenado and Helsley is going to change the fortunes of this team, I want to remind you of last year when we brought in a closer from the Angels. And on the day we brought him here, Dave Dombrowski said, yes, I know Estevez is closed for the Angels, but we're going to ask him to do other things here. Well, that's exactly what they're going to do to this kid. And they're going to screw up his rods and his cones because they're going to make him come in the seventh inning. They're going to make him come in the eighth inning. No true closer is going to want to come here. And then obviously a traded player has no say in the matter. But we're going to screw it all up. So those two players are not going to solve what ails this team. Wholesale change will. Now, whether or not you're ready to move off of these players, if you're ready to move off of the Harpers of the world, the Schwarbers of the world, the JTs of the world, the Castellanoses of the world, it's a slippery slope because obviously there's going to be a little bit of a dip in what we're producing right now. And can you do it creatively where you don't have that dip? Because I honestly believe as long as the starting pitching is intact, you could potentially move off some of these guys and still stay in that competitive balance. Still keep that window of winning open. You got to do it carefully, but it can be done. And I don't understand where I would start with the facelift. Let's call it a facelift. Let's not call it a rebuild because that's not what it is. Let's call it a facelift. Alec Bohm sits the hell down until I can figure out either to trade his ass, send him to Lehigh, DFA him, whatever. I'm done with Alec Bohm. I'm done with that. Otto Kemp, you're up. You wanted it. Now you got it. Welcome to the Phillies. You got the opportunity, and I am going to give you that opportunity as much as Rob Thompson gives everybody else an opportunity to fail and beyond fail. Center field, Marsh, Rojas, both of you. I don't care where you go, honestly. I would like Brandon Marsh to go back to Anaheim and talk the Angels into redoing the trade and send Hoppy back here. But I know that's not possible. I honestly care where Marsh and Rojas go. I know I got to keep probably one of them. Let's keep Rojas for speed off the bench in late innings. Let's keep Rojas around. Marsh, I don't care where you go, dude. And by the way, I don't know. Maybe the Logan O'Hoppe trade might be somewhere on MattyB's top 10 worst trades in Phillies history. I don't know. I have a sneaky feeling it might be. But Marsh can go away. Justin Crawford, first round draft pick in 2022. Guess what? Time is up. You're in. Starting there. Then I'm going to focus my attention to that bullpen. We don't have a closer yet. Or maybe we do. Jose Alvarado, you're the closer. There you are. You're it until further notice. You will not be used in any other position other than the ninth inning or a save situation. Then I either DFA, send down a conglomeration of Hernandez, Ruiz, Joe Ross. One of them three is going to be going bye-bye. And here comes Mick Abel. Mick, you're in. I don't know what I would use, what role. I'd probably use him as a long reliever because he's got high strikeout velocity. He's got high innings potential. But I'm tired of the bullpen just clinking and clunking around. And with the remaining pieces of that bullpen, we will rollize it. We are going to create roles for everybody. From closer to setup guy to seventh inning guy to the the long reliever, sixth inning and below. We're all going to have roles, and we're all going to wear little name tags that says, "Hi, my name is Jose. I am the closer," or "Hi, my name is Orion. I am the seventh inning guy." Well, they're going to wear little tags on their uniforms for the first 2 months so that we all know who they are. That's MattyB's facelift plan for the Phillies right now. And maybe, as I said, you keep that starting rotation intact, and then you build outwards from there. Something's got to give, man. Yeah, they're winning. I get that, but it's the same thing. It's the same recipe. It's the same successes, the same failures. It's literally all I have to do with the Fighting Spinal these days is just find an episode in the archive, which it's prevalent. I could probably go with this season from an earlier game and just dub in the different team name and just dub in a different graphic and just let the rest of it play, because it's the same thing that we're going to say night after night after night after night. Harper's struggling. Harper can't seem to figure out how to hit for contact. He's up there over swinging. We're getting no production from the center field spot. We're getting up and down stuff from Castellanos. Where's JT Realmuto's bat disappeared to? Bryson Stott. Yeah, maybe he's going to work out as a leadoff guy. He wasn't in the lineup at all tonight. By the way, the Phillies, through 41 games, through a quarter of a season in 2025, have only put out the same lineup in more than one game 6 times through 41 games. Through 41 games, they've only had the same lineup 6 times. That's criminal. That is absolutely criminal. That's a guy, and I guess I would probably have to factor in getting rid of the manager. I've had it, man. I've had it with Rob Thompson, and I've had it with the bull crap. Rob, take yourself, take your binder, take your staff, and get the hell out. Get the hell out, man. I'm going to wake up Larry Boa. Larry, get your ass down there and light a fire under their ass. I need you for 4 months, man. Can you take your Geritol and kind of get your CPAP machine revved up? Let's go. I need you for 4 months. Stay alive for 4 months on me. Because I need some fires lit down there in South Philadelphia. Because we're done. I'm done messing around, man. Because the longer we do this, the longer we allow this, it's the same thing. There is no World Series in 2025. And any rational person, and it doesn't have to be me, who some claim I have a screw loose. Some claim I do. That's fine. But those of you out there that are rational or claim to be rational, you can see the same things I can through the red sunglasses, through the red Kool-Aid, through Big Al's Excuse Emporium, through it all. You can see it as clearly as I can. It's a matter of accepting it as I have. It's the same thing. Night after night after night. What happened in the ninth inning tonight was pathetic. A World Series contending team. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. Bugs Bunny versus the Gas House Gorillas, baby. Somebody key the music, man. Steve, man, you right on point, Steve. Good job. That's why I need you back here, Steve. Keep me honest. Hello, Barbara. Matty, the Bryce Harper Show is wearing thin on me. He's a front runner. He's got a fresh, snazzy new haircut, though, Barbara. Check that out, man. Got the fade going on, Bryce Harper. Woohoo! Man, he's trying to turn back the clock. Back to his 20s. Yeah, Barbara. He showed, clear point. He showed some life a couple nights ago. But he's flatlined yet again. And once again, big time situations. He gets striking out looking late in the game. Right there in the inside corner, lower part of the zone. Boom! And at least he didn't complain. At least he dropped his bat, turned his back like he should have, and in shame, and walked away. But 330 million reasons why this ain't working. And Bryce Harper's not safe either. He's not. Bryce Harper, if you had the legitimate chance, Barbara, and everybody else that's tuned in here tonight on the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, if you had the legitimate chance to move off of Bryce Harper, would you do it? Would you do it? If you had a chance to move off of him, a legitimate trade offer. As a matter of fact, you can set the terms of the trade. I'll even go that far. You can go ahead around Major League Baseball, find a package, and would you do it? Is there such a package that would tantalize you in order to move off of Bryce Harper? I know 2 years ago I say that it's taboo time. I'm being, sent to the island or to my room with no dinner. But today, on May 12th, 2025, is that such a taboo topic anymore? Or is there such a package out there that you would accept in order to move off of Bryce Harper? Would you move off of Bryce Harper for Nolan Arenado and Helsley? I would. I would absolutely do that. And then, of course, you can take the manager, too. Can I throw Rob Thompson in that trade? Because I want to make sure I use Helsley as a goddamn closer. Imagine that bullpen in the back end. I got Helsley saving. I got, Alvarado as the setup guy. I got Orion Kirkering in the 7th inning. And I got a conglomeration of Matt Strahm, Mick Abel, right? Who else? Tanner Banks, and Jordan Romano would be now a long reliever. Probably be a 6th inning specialist for me, would be Romano if I had that going on in my bullpen. But would you move off of Bryce Harper for Nolan God, why is his name so hard? Nolan Arenado and Ryan Helsley. Would you do that? I would. I'd move off of him for that. He's been extremely unimpressive over the past 5.5 years. No, not 5.5. 2022 was his crescendo here. Since that season, he has been a shadow of his $330 million self. So would you move off of Bryce Harper if you could? If you could, legitimately, find somebody out there, would you be, on the phone? Hey, how does Bryce Harper sound? Is this just a blip in the radar? Is 2023, 2024, and this year a blip in the radar? Is he going to pull out of it and have a resurgence in his latter part of his contract? Is he still talking extension? With that fresh haircut of his, maybe he is referring to hair extensions. Actually, that stuff is short, man. Man, he got the military special wherever he got his haircut today. But yeah, I mean, I think all trades are reasonable right now, with maybe the exception of your starting rotation. I don't want to move off any of them guys, but I don't know, man. It's wash and repeat, and Bryce Harper, showman, had that bandana on last night, or was it the night before? Was wearing a showman bandana out in Cleveland. Watch the grammar, please. Tram car. The hell's a tram car? Huh? How about Devers? Oh, Rafael Devers having a terrible season, man. Terrible season. This value of his baseball cards have plummeted this year. I don't know. Mike, I'm almost tempted to give the shot to the bench, or not the bench, the minor leagues. And I know that's fool's gold, and that's a ridiculous statement to make, especially a team that is in allegedly a window of winning. And I'm not asking for, is it more offensive pieces, or is it the right offensive pieces? Do we have the pieces? They're not being used correctly. I think there's a lot to be said about that. I think we have the pieces in the bullpen. They're just not used right. And we might have the pieces already on this team, but they're just not being used right. How many years did it take Schwarber to get moved down out of that leadoff spot? I mean, I think there's something to that. I think there's something to this manager and his inability to change anything except apparently the lineup on a daily basis, which he has no problem doing that 6 times. Six times through 41 games. The Phillies have had the same lineup go back-to-back games. I have it written down. I can give you dates. I don't feel like breaking out my notebook, but 6 times. That's criminal. What sport requires the most routine? What sport has the players who rely on routine the most? Oh, I don't know. Baseball? But we're flipping and flopping the lineup. It's like Pat Bernard is doing up the Phillies lineup on a night-to-night basis. Does Rob use an app? Does he use AI? And I don't mean Allen Iverson to do the lineup on a nightly basis. Inquiring minds want to know. So I don't know about Devers, man. He's having a bad year. And I don't want to replace one high-priced star with the next. And I think, isn't Devers under contract beyond this year? He's not a free agent. It's not a trade year for him, is it? Joe Hale, what's going on, man? Just got tickets tomorrow to the game on Saturday against the Buccos. Is that a Paul Skeens game? Is Paul Skeens pitching that game there, Joe? That's a must-watch. That's awesome, Joe. Pittsburgh coming to town with their new manager. Probably going to take 3 out. Probably going to sweep the Phillies. Boa is too old for 4 months. And I don't want Larry Boa long-term. I don't know if he's long-term for anything in this world anymore. But I just want him. I want the Larry Boa that pissed off that team back in 2002 and 3. That's the Larry Boa I want. I want the Larry Boa to remind these baseball players where they came from, what the sport is, and how to play it properly. And that there's such a thing as accountability for when you don't perform correctly. That's what I want from Larry Boa. I honestly, I get what you're saying. And I know it's not a feasible thing to do, but I'm looking for that type of manager. The one that you can find quickly. You know what I mean? And this is a short-term fix. It's to get me through the year, and then we'll look for somebody under the age of 80 to pilot the team the rest of the way. But I'm looking for more of a symbolic change at the top. Somebody that's going to come in fire and brimstone. Billy Bean in the clubhouse with the baseball bat and the Gatorade jug. That's what I'm looking for, that type of guy. And unfortunately, those type of baseball guys are up there because baseball has changed so dramatically over the years. But they're still floating around out there. And Larry Boa just happens to be in the backyard and an easy pluck. But I get it. I get the realistic nature of that request. I understand that that's never going to happen. But I'm ready for something like that. And I think this team needs it. I think this team needs a shakeup somewhere. Drastically. Somewhere, something major needs to happen to this team to wake them the hell up. And the easiest one to do, the painless one to do, is the manager. Scapegoating him. Well, in this case, I don't think it's a scapegoat, but firing the manager would be the most easiest thing to do with all kinds of positive impact behind it versus negative impact to wake up this team. And maybe a trade. Alec Boehm gets dealt, DFA'd, sent down. You fire your manager, you send down Alec Boehm, you make 3 massive moves to the internal dynamic of that sleepy clubhouse. and you just sit back and watch the results. You got to try something, or we're headed down the same road. 88 to 92 wins this season. Fool's gold hope. And when we get to the playoffs, another early exit. You heard it here first. Tell me I'm wrong based on what we've seen and witnessed over the past 2 or 3 years. And tell me where this season's differing with personnel, philosophy, commitment than the past seasons. I want to know. Joe says he would definitely trade Harper. I would too. I would listen. Robbie don't know how to manage without analytics. He's got no clue since he's been managing the Phillies how to use the bullpen or closer. I think you mean or closer, right? This team doesn't respect Robbie since the Arizona loss till now. And you're referring Michael Papernick to the Arizona NLCS loss, which to me was the nail in the coffin for me as well. I didn't want him back after that. I thought, I gave him a pass for what he did in 22, getting them to the World Series. Then he mismanaged the World Series and he took Wheeler out of Game 6. Don't tell me that Wheeler should have came out of that game. He should not have come out of that game. Then he went, as you mentioned, in that pivotal 3 and 4 of that Diamondback series by going back-to-back with Kimbrel, who had never succeeded all season long back-to-back, but analytics told him it was going to work and it blew up in his face. I was done. And then at the end of that series in Game 7, you come home still up 3-2, and all you had to do was win one of 2 home games. One of 2 home games at the bank, at the raucous bank. All you had to do was win one of 2. And you couldn't do that. And then the season at the end of it on Game 7 rested on the bat of Jake Cave, who's now playing in Korea. And yet Rob Thompson came back. That was it, man. I knew we were doomed. We were doomed at that point. And everyone else go, oh well, it is what. No, that's baseball. Oh, that's baseball. Yes, well, so is losing. Yeah, man, I agree. Harper to the A's for their closer, Miller and Brent Rooker. Oh man, that would be a good one. Now that would be, you know what? Would I accept that? I would accept that as well, but I want a little bit more from the Sacramento A's. Listen, and you know what? That doesn't sound like such a long off trade because, Harper's from Vegas, right? At one point here in the next few years, the A's are going to settle in Las Vegas. Harper can go home. Harper also is could provide a face of the franchise of the new A's. It's a stroke of marketing genius for the A's to bring Harper there. It would all settle in nicely. I would want Miller, Rooker, and I would also go into that farm system. They've been picking high in the draft over the last 5 or 6 years, and I would, move around some pieces down there too and see who tickles my fancy in the Sacramento A farm system. But that's definitely that's a doable move. I would absolutely look at making that trade. I like that. And it makes sense, Michael Papernick. It makes sense for the A's. Harper's coming home, man. And he'll be the new face of that franchise in Vegas. Vegas, man. Vegas. Yeah, it makes sense. Hensley, Nolan Arenado, and Jordan Isles for Harper. And no. Listen, Joe, no. I can't mess up the mojo of the starting rotation, even though Ranger's not been the most reliable. Let's try to keep this down to just a Bryce. All we're tossing in Bryce Harper. That's all I'm prepared to give up is Bryce Harper. Let's focus on that. I think the Cardinals would move off of Hensley and Arenado. Lyles they wouldn't do. I think you could talk the Cardinals potentially moving off of the other 2 for Harper. You might have to toss in, you might toss in Gabriel Racones. You probably have to toss in one of your not high up prospects, but like a Gabriel Racones Jr. Or a Gene Cabrera, that type of pitcher down there in Double-A. You might have to toss somebody in there in order to kind of make that deal happen. But Jordan Lyles and them 2, it's a little too. They're not gonna. I'm not ready to move off a Ranger yet. And I don't want to supplant Ranger for what it might cost in prospects. I like where your head is, but now let's just focus on that. I think that's he's pitching Sunday. Yeah, I know he is. If the Phillies trade Harper, they should sign Schwarber and Pete Alonso in the offseason and trade for Devers. Is Alonso on a 1-year deal? I thought he signed like a 5-year deal. He just signed a 1-year deal with the Mets? Yeah, definitely could do that. I mean, we would have the money. Move off of Harper. You could start work on Schwarber's extension right away. Hopefully get that done before he hits the open market. And I think the Phillies done messed up with the Schwarber thing. And I'm sorry to say, I think they have. Even though I would have definitely done the same thing they're doing. Schwarber's going to price himself right out of Philadelphia. The way the season he's having, he's going to be an all-star. And who knows where he falls in at the end of this in MVP talk at the end of the season. Right now, he's projecting out. He's definitely going to be top 5 NL MVP candidate at this particular moment of the season. Granted, it's early. But definitely an all-star. So Dave Dombrowski might have messed up, which I would have messed up too because I wasn't willing to talk contract extension based off of one season last year. So if you say Bryce Harper is trade-worthy, then the prospects are not safe either in my mind. Why not, Adam? Why not? Why are the prospects not safe? Why are the prospects involved in this? The prospects are the future. Bryce Harper's not. Bryce Harper's not the future of this team. Bryce Harper is the present and the past. Why would you mortgage your future for the present? I've never understood that. And I don't buy the whole play to pay and all that crap. I don't. You can do both. You got to be smart about it, but you can do both. I would 100% move off of Bryce Harper if I could. Do you honestly think Bryce Harper's better days are ahead of him? Have you watched the man? Have you seen his body language? Have you seen him up at the plate? Have you seen him chopping trees? Bryce Harper is interested in one thing, and that's being Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper doesn't give one rat's ass less about the Philadelphia Phillies. Doesn't care about Philadelphia, cares about Bryce Harper. And every day he fails at the plate, he takes that to heart. I'm not saying he's not frustrated and angry at himself, but that's just it. He's angry at himself, about himself, for himself. Nothing to do with the Phillies. Not a thing. And if you honestly think Bryce Harper goes to bed at night worried at all about the Phillies, the city of Philadelphia, Adam, man, me and you might have to have a talk, man, because that's definitely not what Bryce Harper's all about. Bryce Harper's never been about that. Bryce Harper's about Bryce Harper. Because part of the problem I'm having with Bryce Harper is that he is not being a good teammate. Watch his at-bats, especially late in games. Watch his swing selection or his pitch selection. He's looking to be a hero. He's not looking to be a spark or a contributor. He's looking to get his name up there in the headlines. I will certainly attempt to try to move off of a guy like that, especially with the amount of money they're paying him. If I can get younger, if I can plug some holes in areas that I need to get plugged up, offensively, Bryce Harper is not doing much for this team. And if I can bring somebody in here or bring somebody up, bring a couple people up, a la Billy Beane and Moneyball, and, take 2 players and blend them into one Bryce Harper number, why not? I got young players that are playing for the future that are hungry. I got a player who's become maybe a little too complacent in his status here in the city. It is not a taboo topic to talk about the potential of trying to move off of Bryce Harper, if you possibly can. Am I saying give him away for a bag of balls? No. But I'm saying I would be listening if anybody out there is talking. It's hard because you're going to have to move him to a team. I think he's got a no trade clause, right? So he has to actually approve the deal. I don't think he'd have a problem going to the A's. Honestly, I don't. With their trajectory being Vegas and the fact that he would be the man in Vegas. I mean, he would be it. He would be the center of that franchise. I don't honestly think he'd have a problem with it. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be losing for a couple seasons, but they might build something around him. I think he'd dig it. That's a great trade suggestion, and I would be open to listen to it. Phillies team and players couldn't handle Boa as most players are soft. That's why I want him, man. I want the cream to rise to the top, Michael Peppernick. It's time to cut some dead weight, man. I've been calling for Robbie's head for years as he is useless. Ever since the end of the 23 season, I've never understood why the man's still here. Laughing out loud. Hi, how you doing, Barbara? Good to see you tonight, Barbara. We are going to do, we've got hijacked. I got hijacked off of a, what is it now? A 42-minute, Jesus Christ, man, time flies. A 42-minute tirade about how I have just ran out of steam and strength talking about the Phillies. I mentioned all we would have to do here on this network is we've been doing the I've been doing the Fightins Final in some way or form for 4 years now. And over the last, and trust me, and I've done a lot of episodes. I don't know how many I've done. I think last year I did like 60 or 70 or something like that. This year I've done like 15. 1 year I did 162. I mean, I've done a lot. And after a while, just like in anything else in life, when you start repeating yourself, eventually you catch yourself and you're like, wait a second, where have I heard this before? I find myself on post-game duty saying the same things I was saying 2 years ago, or saying the same things I was saying 2 months ago. And it's just never ending. It's the same recipe. All you got to do, Barbara, and I maintain this, you look at the box score, you see the run output, you see the hits, you look down at the runners and scoring position numbers, and then you can piece together the rest of the game. You don't even got to watch the highlights. You don't got to read any more of the box score. All you got to do is look at those three stats, and you can piece together the rest of the game to about a 95% degree of accuracy. I dare you to try it. Tomorrow, don't watch the game. At the end of the game, go back, look at the box score, look at how many runs they scored, look at how many hits they had, and look at the runners in scoring position, and then try in your mind, based on what you know, because you're all smart Phillies fans, fill in the blanks in your mind, and then go back and watch the game, and I bet you'll be surprised of how accurate you were about this game. Win or lose, honestly, because it's the same recipe either way. Think about it. Think I might be on to something. Metallica was making fun of the Cardinals because their home run leader has only 6 home runs when Harper himself has only has 7 or 8. Yeah. Metallica is typically more on the side of me. I don't know where he's trying to go with that. Are we starting now to make excuses for Harper? Is that what we're up to now? It's about trying to justify why he's still here, or justify why he never receives proper criticism for not being clutch and not being a $330 million man. Bad investment, man. Alonso, 2-year deal with a 1-year player opt for after the season. Well, the problem of prying Alonso out of New York will go a long way in how the Mets go this year, right, Michael? I mean, he's been there since the beginning. He's drafted in 2016 in the Mickey Moniak draft. So a lot of that's going to have to do with what happens this year. And that's why I think Alonso went back in the first place, was because, one, I don't think anybody was wanting to, he wasn't want to bring his number down, and nobody was willing to go up to his number, but the Mets were. And, obviously, with what the Mets have done in the offseason, retooling offensively, I think he's interested to see what it's going to be like there in New York and how the season might end. So Alonso's kind of a wild card, but I wanted, we talked about this during the free agency period, right? As the days wore on and he was still a free agent, I was like, you know what? Why not? Right? And it wasn't Harper all into doing it too. Yeah, player option. Freddie Freeman is hitting .385 with 33 RBIs and 9 home runs. He's way better than Harper. Absolutely. 100%. Harper got another haircut. Won't shave that beard. Yeah, we were a slick haircut too. Got the fade working, man. He's got the fade. Maybe he joined the army yesterday. Maybe he's going to sneak away. I think Bryce Harper cares, but just remember he might have an issue with Dombrowski for not trying to trade for Alonso last trade deadline, and then asking Dombrowski to sign Alonso's. Maybe he can't manipulate Dombrowski like he could Klentak. Maybe that's part of the problem. And don't forget, he wouldn't get them. Allegedly, he says he never asked for the extension. He did. And obviously they didn't give it to him. So maybe he's soured on the Phillies. But I disagree with you giving him. Bryce Harper cares 100% about Bryce Harper. The thing otherwise, even if he was, when he was a national, he didn't care. When he was, wherever he goes after the Phillies, if he ever goes anywhere else, he won't care about them. He cares about Bryce Harper and how Bryce Harper is and how Bryce Harper is treated and how Bryce Harper is perceived. He's a complete product of his generation. Bryce Harper does not care about the Phillies. He doesn't. I don't think he's upset tonight about his. Now, he's upset about slumping on a personal level. But whether or not the Phillies are winning or losing because of it, I don't think he cares. I really don't. I honestly don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the man. Perhaps I am wrong. But just out of what I see on a day-to-day, night-to-night basis, that's my opinion about it. 6 more years of Harper is hard to swallow. I don't think it's going to be 6 more years. There's got to be a certain point where I don't know. There's a lot of dead money there. I don't know how that's all going to work out. And unfortunately, we've almost hit that point now where we get to start thinking about it. And it's going to be fun because, the questions are now starting to sort of bubble up a little bit. There's a growing number of people starting to talk about Bryce Harper and his lack of contributions to this team and his lack of consistency. But there's still a majority out there that want to push those people back down by saying you're crazy. Harper's a franchise guy. He's the top 10 in Major League Baseball, which he's not. There's still a lot. The more majority of those people still exist. But every game, every season, every day that passes, our ranks are growing and their ranks are decreasing. And eventually, it will come to a tipping point, and we will flip the script. And then Bryce Harper. And then how does Bryce Harper handle that? Does Bryce Harper have the stones to handle that type of outlash? He has never dealt with the Philadelphia backlash before. He's never dealt with that. He's tried to separate himself from that. He tries to put himself on the fan side. But when the day comes, which it will, and it comes for everybody, it came from Mike Schmidt, so it's going to come for Bryce Harper. And that's just the reality of being an athlete in this town. They're going to turn on you at some point. It's going to happen. It happens to the best of them. It happened to the best of the entire franchise and Mike Schmidt. It's Harper. How does Harper handle that? Does he have the stones to handle that? Does he have the maturity to handle that? It's going to be interesting and make for some great TV, but it's going to be very interesting to see if that happens. Can we talk Eagle schedule leaks? Yes, we can, Joe, but thank you for the segue, Joe. 40 goddamn 9 minutes on Bryce Harper and the Phillies. I mean, how long was the Titans final? Like 30 minutes? I spent 50 minutes talking about, I didn't even talk about the game. Real quick, Joe and everybody else, let's talk about our day in Philadelphia sports history. That's right. Got hijacked, but I'm getting back on track. 2008. That's right. Today, May 12th, 2008. Outfielder Jason Worth, I remember him, became just the second Phillies player in franchise history to rack up 4 stolen bases in a single game. The fourth came on a steal of home plate. It was against the Dodgers in a 5-3 Phillies win. Just the second player in Phillies history ever to record 4 stolen bases in one game, and the fourth that he had was a steal of home base. That's pretty damn cool. On this day in Philadelphia sports history, 2008. All right. Joe Hale wants to segue. I'll segue. But let's keep the Phillies conversation talking. Yeah, the schedule officially for all NFL teams comes out on the 14th. But just like the Titanic on a warm spring night in the North Atlantic, there's holes blowing everywhere. And schedule leaks have hit the airwaves. Let's talk. There's 3 games that I have seen. I don't know if you guys have seen more. But I know of 3 games that we're going to track and talk about. Let's talk about the Christmas. Is it Christmas? No, they're not on Christmas. What day are they? They're on Black Friday, right? They're on Black Friday against the Bears. That to me, I don't know, man. That's a little late in the season to be playing the Bears on Black Friday. Don't understand really the marketing in that. The Bears season could be over by Black Friday. I mean, because anybody else kind of the NFL not seeing that. The Bears season could be in desperate, you know, life support by Black Friday. I don't see. I would have much preferred a Black Friday Eagle Lion game. That would have been really cool, especially the fact that they didn't give the Eagles and the Lions the opener. But the Black Friday Eagles Bears, does that do it for anybody? Is that enough for you to like bypass your day after Thanksgiving? Because I know a lot of families out there have actually Black Fridays probably in a lot of families that I've talked to. And granted, I have not censused the country, but a lot of people that I know have heavier and more important family traditions on Black Friday than they actually do on Thanksgiving. And Black Friday is a traditional day of kind of going out, enjoying yourself with family, with friends, and then hosting people that night and whatever. And so is that something that, Eagles, Bears, is that going to upset your Black Friday plans? I think the NFL might have missed it here with the Eagles and the Bears on Black Friday. What do you guys think about that? I really don't. I don't see it. And Barbara says that they are playing on Black Friday, like she predicted. Yes, you did predict that. But how are you feeling about the opponent? A Bears team that's their season could be over by then. I'm not digging it, man. I'm not digging this with so many possibilities. So many, even with the home possibilities. They could have had the Rams on Black Friday. They could have had the Lions on Black Friday. You could have had the Broncos. I would have dug Eagle Broncos on Black Friday. There are just so many more. If it's a home game and they want to give them a home game, there was just, to me, so many more better options other than Eagles Bears on Black Friday. I'm just not digging it, man. I'm not digging that at all. And then the second leak that I saw was Saturday. I believe it's December 20th, week 16. The Eagles will be back on Saturday football. Yep, it is. And they'll be playing the Commanders. It's a road game in Washington against the Commanders. Now, they hit a home run with that one. There ain't nothing like Saturday afternoon football around the holidays. I love that part of the season. I love when it gets to that and you're watching football on Saturday right before Christmas. And that could be a potentially divisional altering game. That could be a game for first place. That could be a game for first place overall in the conference. That game could have a huge amount of ramifications connected to it in Washington. I like that as well because you gotta spice it up a little bit. Give the Commanders some due there. So I'm digging that. I think they hit a home run with that game. I 100% endorse the Week 16 doubleheader in the Eagles Commanders as part of that doubleheader on Saturday, December the 20th. The opening game is underwhelming to say. I'm not sure what the NFL was thinking. But yeah, we're going to get to that. I'm holding that one to the end there, Barbara, because I agree with you there. Apparently the Eagles will have 8 to 9 primetime games. Yeah, and that's another thing. And I don't know if that's correct. That's a lot of friggin' primetime games. I mean, that's how it was in 23, right? Where they played, I think, total of 3 1:00 games the entire season. I mean, I get it. They're a draw, defending Super Bowl champions. There's going to be a exorbitant amount of non 1:00 Sunday afternoon games, and it comes with the territory. But boy, I hate Monday Night Football. I do. It throws your day completely off the next day, win or lose for me. I hate Thursday Night Football too. I really do. I just don't like it. And Sunday Night Football is borderline getting there as well because it throws your week off. So why can't we just live on Saturdays and Sunday at 4 p.m.? What's wrong with that? That's the perfect. Sundays at 4. Let's have a bunch of those games. I'll be very happy. But I think Joe's right. I think with the marketing involvement with the Eagles, they're going to be a lot of Monday nights, a lot of Sunday nights, probably at least 2 Thursday nights. They got a Friday, or maybe 1 Thursday, 1 Friday. They got a Saturday. I mean, there's going to be odd games at odd times throughout the season. And I will be looking out to see how many 1:00 games. Can the Eagles come in underneath the 3 that they played in 2023? See, that's the new over-under for 3. Can the Eagles get more than 3 or less than 3 1:00 Sunday games like they had in 2023? So that leads us, of course, to the third game, and that was the one that everyone was waiting for. We knew that the Eagles would be part of this the minute they won the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl champion always has the honor of kicking off the brand new season at home, banner raising, ring ceremony, the whole 9 yards. to kick off the entire 2025 NFL football season. It always goes to the Super Bowl champion, which I agree to. I think that's a great thing to do. They deserve it, and it should be done like that. But once again, with a litany about there was 2 opponents in the Eagle home season or schedule this year that had the first game stamped all over them, and that was the Rams or the Lions. Both playoff teams from a year before. The Lions were the number 1 overall seed, for God's sakes. The Rams were ended their season at the Link in the snow. Some connections. A lot of people think it's going to be between the Lions and Eagles again this year. They're going to battle each other for number 1 overall all season long. What a way, once again, for ratings and marketing to give you a shot in the arm and go out with some perennial, hey, this could be a NFC championship game preview, or this could be a potential, divisional round. This could be a playoff preview. But no, we're not going to do that. Instead, the National Football League has decided to match up the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles on week 1, September 4th, Thursday Night Football. Not only are the Eagles going to burn a home game against a divisional opponent, but they're going to burn it in early September. I much would rather have that home game for late December against a divisional opponent. I think it's a mistake. It's terrible. It sucks. It's garbage. The Cowboys are a team that's, okay. Don't, and please, whatever you do when we start going down this road, don't throw in my face Eagle-Cowboy rivalry. That thing has been dead for years. There is no more Eagles-Cowboys rivalry. This generation of fans, they don't dig that. They're not into that. There is no more hatred between these 2 teams. There's hatred between the fan base and the team, or the fan base and the fan base. But where it really matters is between the teams. And there is no hatred anymore between the 2 teams. Those days have long gone. That's not the way we raise our young anymore. We don't raise them to be men. No, we don't raise them to be warriors. We raise them to be soft individuals who can hold conversations, whatever. But that rivalry is dead. The rivalry I grew up in, the Eagles Cowboys, with the Bounty Bowl and all this other. Was that the Eagles body bag game? No, that was Redskins. But that the Buddy Ryan, Jimmy Johnson, Vermeil versus Landry, that stuff is done. It's dead. It's over, and it's not coming back. I don't see it coming back. So any kind of mystique Eagle Cowboys is lost on me. And is this an attempt by the NFL to try to renew that by having the Cowboys have to stand there on opening night and watch the Eagles get their rings? Is this an opportunity for the NFL to try to reignite that rivalry, for the Cowboys to stand there and watch that banner go up for the Super Bowl 59 champions? I mean, maybe that's what this is. Yes, it's a huge marketing because it's still Eagles Cowboys and it still screams that. But where it counts for me as a lifelong Eagle fan growing up in the middle of that, and the whole when you're born, a doctor slaps you on the ass and looks at you and says, Dallas sucks. Those days are over, man. And this generation of Eagle fan, they're pathetic the way they try to say that it's not. They have no idea what it was like. They don't remember growing up in that era. And unfortunately, for the rivalry really to work at any level at all, the Cowboys got to be good, right? They got to be actually good in order for it to work. And Cowboys, they're not that good. And I don't think they're going to be. They may be good at some point in 2025, but it sure as shit ain't going to be on week 1. So I think the NFL missed here. Now they're looking at this holistically through marketing and through numbers and all that, and it's the Cowboys, Eagles. But Eagle fans, real Eagle fans, and I mean that honestly, real Eagle fans, this is a miss. This is a miss on a lot of levels. And the biggest level that misses for me is that I got to take a home divisional game and burn it on September the 4th instead of having it maybe later in the season. So now with the Commanders on week 16 in Washington, Dallas, the second Dallas game will most doubtly be in Dallas at some point in December, you would think. So that's 2. So we're going to have potentially 1 home game against the Giants late in the year. That sucks. That sucks from a strategic standpoint or from a football standpoint. And I think the NFL missed the mark by not giving the Eagles and Lions or Eagles and Rams the opening. And I pushed all for months Eagles Lions. I thought that would have been, maybe create a new rivalry. Put the Lions out on the link and watch the Eagles get their rings and watch them raise up that banner. That could create a new rivalry. But the NFL wants to go with the old and the dead, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm not digging it, man. I'm not digging that schedule at all. I'm not digging that opener. I'm okay with the December 6th or December 20th, week 16, Saturday, Eagles Commanders. That's going to be awesome. And the Black Friday Eagles Bears, again, doesn't move the friggin' needle for me, man. Bears season will probably be over by then. So how y'all feeling out there about the Eagles and their schedule leaking out? The rest of the schedule, of course, will come out on the 14th. And we will be here on this network, not this program, but the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn on Thursday night at 8 p.m. And we'll talk about schedule leaks. Let's go back up here. You guys, I lost you guys. Totally lost. Good God, where am I? Where did I go? Joe Hale's talking season opener. Yes. Pete Alonso plays first base. Harper already retired to first, so Harper and Alonso really couldn't coexist. You have to move Harper back to the outfield, which I'm have no problem with. Turner's contract is worse with years. His contract with no trade doesn't run out till like 41 years old, and there's talk possibly putting Turner as third base, which would be an epic mistake. God, who's talking about putting Turner at third base? Again, Joe or Mike, I'm sorry. Well, I'm taking this step by step, and trying to. I don't want to run into a rebuild. I want to keep doing facelifts. So I'm kind of taking this step by step. Trey Turner is a problem, but right now Trey Turner's problem is a couple years down the road. I can live with what Trey Turner is right now. I can live with it. I'm still pro Trey Turner. Granted, he hasn't been what he's been advertised to be, but I still think he's got a bigger upside than Harper. Mike Schmidt had Phillies blood in him, while Harper doesn't have an ounce. Yes, yeah, and they turned on Mike Schmidt. I remember those days, man. Forced Mike Schmidt to come out wearing a wig and sunglasses. Eagles are playing on Black Friday. Yep. And then December 20th. Okay, let's go. More of this. Opening game is underwhelming, to say the least. I'm not sure what the NFL. Again, Barbara, I think it misses the mark on so many levels. And the biggest level for me, there's two big levels. Level one, the rivalry just isn't the same anymore. There's a group of Eagles fans, a generation of Eagles fans that are dwindling what really know what the Eagle-Cowboy rivalry was. And there's more generations of Eagles fans that really don't know. They really don't, because they grew up in the Andy Reid era. They became Eagles fans under Andy Reid. They don't remember what it was like. They don't even remember Buddy Ryan. They got to watch movie tone newsreels in order to see Buddy Ryan. They don't remember any of that, and it's lost on them. Apparently, the Eagles will have 8 to 9 primetime games. KC is playing on Christmas again. I guess I'll skip it. Yeah, who are they playing on Christmas? I saw that. Eagles versus Cowboys is going to most watch game. Joe, you really think so? You really believe that? Joe, is it because it's Eagles Cowboys, or it's the home opener, the season opener, the first game of the season, the only game of the season starting out? Are you looking at this through the other aspects? We're burning through a home divisional game in September. You never want that. And this upcoming Eagles season, which is yet to be written, I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk the way a lot of people think it is. I don't think they're going to skip through the season like they did last year. I honestly don't. So you're going to need every advantage you possibly can get. Now, some would call winning a Super Bowl a disadvantage because of what they do to you the following year. And this is case in point here. But I don't know, Joe. I'm not seeing holistically. Okay, the pomp and circumstances of week 1, first game, that's great. But then after that game is burned through on September 4th, we lose a home divisional game later down the line where it really matters. The reason why the Rams didn't get picked, the Rams go. Yeah, that's right. Well, I get that, but they could have changed that, obviously, if they wanted to. Matty, the most newer Milan Eagles fans think football was invented in 2017, and Kelsey is some of them. Yes, they do. They do, Barbara. But it's our responsibility as older Eagle fans. I'm not going to say we're old Eagle fans, but older Eagle fans to ground this generation and drop some knowledge on them. Yep. Sometimes you got to do that. Like there's Eagle fans out there for some odd reason that don't like Kelly Green. I mean, Kelly Green is synonymous with this football team. Whether or not they won or lost wearing it, it's their colors. I think they should revert back to Kelly Green full time. And not just the greens, but the whites and the silvers too. Make it the new home uniform. The home is the green. The road is the white top with the gray silver bottoms. They should revert back to that thing completely. Both uniforms, not just the one. The Kelly Green is synonymous. To me, it was the smartest looking uniform they ever had. And it, to me, symbolizes the rebirth of Philadelphia Eagle football. Again, for the passing Eagle fan that doesn't remember, there was a time not too long ago, the Eagles stunk. And they stunk every year. And then when Buddy Ryan arrived, Kelly Green's arrived, the new logo with the, I guess it's a new logo with the eagle clutching the football in his talons. Randall Cunningham, Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner, Andre Dirty Waters, Wes Hopkins, Eric Allen, Keith Jackson, Keith Byers, Ron Heller, Jerome Brown, Reggie White, Mike Pitts, Golick. I mean, I can go on and on. Roger Ruzek is your kicker. McFadden, man. And then anchored and controlled by Buddy Ryan, they brought the nasty back to Philadelphia Eagle football back in the mid-'80s. They brought it all back. Buddy Ryan rebirthed football in this town. Now, obviously, didn't work out. He got fired after not winning any playoff games. But what he started has never wavered since then. Before with Marion Campbell. The latter Dick Vermeil years, the years before Dick Vermeil, were totally garbage. Buddy Ryan was the one who lit that fuse forever. And you should pay homage to the man. Whether or not he won or lost the Super Bowl here, to me, is irrelevant to what he did on a bigger scale. He rebirthed football in this town. He gave the Eagle fan out there something to cheer about. He did. And what he meant to the Eagles going forward. And the Eagle fans of today, they have no idea who Buddy Ryan is. That they think they do, but they don't. They should pay the proper respect to the proper head coach. And those uniforms should be brought back in a full-time capacity. 100% agree to that. I really like the Randall era uniforms, both home and away. They were a classic, man. Barbara, they were probably the best Eagle uniforms of all time. 100%. They should bring them back. So, Eagle schedule release leak, December 20th, Saturday, on the road against the Commanders, part of a Fox doubleheader. Black Friday at home against the Chicago Bears. And opening up the season on September 4th, Thursday Night Football at home, and a wasted game against the Dallas Cowboys. Wasted a home game, a divisional home game on week 1. I think they missed the mark, folks. I do. All right. So that brings us kind of full circle, I guess, here on the program. Let's remind the folks at home. Listen, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell your spouse, tell anybody. Tell my worst enemy, which there's a lot of those. So you pretty much can't swing a dead cat around here without a person who doesn't like me. Tell them about It's a Wrap Sports Network, because I need all the help I can get. Because just like Bryce Harper, I'm all about MattyB. And I got to grow this thing. And if I can't do it, nobody can. Not any of the guys that work here. The hell with them, man. They're nipping at my damn coattails, man. Right along for the ride. Nah, just kidding. Those guys are great guys. But really, tell a friend. Help us out. Help us grow this network. All the wonderful programming we have here, like the Fighting's Final. And tomorrow night, the Phillies will be back at it. And Steve Fuentes. I think he's related somehow to Steve Fuentes, but Steve Fuentes is going to be hosting the Fighting's Final. Again, if somebody could let Steve know I need his W-2, because I don't know who he is. But he'll be hosting the Fighting's Final on Tuesday night. I got you on Wednesday. It's a matinee 1:00 game. Even though the game will be over by 4, I will not be bringing you the Fightings final till about 8. Got things I got to do, man. I'm sorry. So make sure you're tuned into the Fightings final. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m., even if Pat Bernard does not get his internet fixed, it is the PNM and the AM program. Your Sundays will never be the same, so make sure you're tuned into the boys. Thursday nights at 9 is the Attacking Third. Steve and Pat talking Union, talking MLS, talking #dupe, whatever that means. Again, no one's explained that to me. I implore anybody out there that knows what dupe means to tell me. And then this program, The Final Word with MattyB, can be seen typically from Sundays through Thursdays at 10 p.m. Post-game duties being damned. There's some things going on that I got to maneuver around, so I will not be doing. I'm only doing 2 episodes this week, but make sure you're checking out The Final Word. All right, and all the other great stuff we have happening here. So let's get to goddamn. I think we're just going to do. I'm going to suspend the card review, and I'm going to suspend the of the night topic of the night segment tonight. And we're going to get right into the new segment, which is something that Barbara brought up. We were talking last week, and we started throwing some trades around. And I was like, I think I'm sure it was a response somehow. Was I on about Brandon Marsh? Was that what spurred it on? I don't remember what actually brought up the conversation, but she triggered something in me. And I'm a big fan of lists and top 10s and worst this and greatest that. So I figured, you know what? Why not do a MattyB's top 10 worst Phillies trades of all time list? So I went and spent the weekend. It didn't really take long. It took me about 10 minutes to throw this thing together. And tonight, we're going to start it. We're going to go one a night, starting with number 10, working our way, of course, down to number 1. And we're going to do one MattyB's worst trade in Phillies history a night till we get down to the illustrious number 1 worst trade in Phillies history, according to me. Of course, that's not this is not gospel. This is me. This is my cracked gospel. So we are going to do this starting tonight. I guess we're not doing the Phillies all-time trade. Yes, told you, Barbara. Come on. Oh my God. Yes, Barbara. I said I was going to do it, and we're going to start it tonight. We're not going to do the other night segment, and we're not going to do card review tonight, but we're going to get right into this. Right now, there's a lot of trades that you could sit down and you could, and I found a lot of them. I was like, oh my God, I remember this one. Oh my God, I forgot about this. There was a lot of that going on when I was researching this. But I think I've come down to 10 that are, truly epic and how bad they were for this franchise. And there's multiple reasons for each of these trades to be bad, in my opinion. And we'll explain them as we move through them. So let's go. Let's get it started. Number 10. On MattyB's all-time worst Phillies trades of all time is, drum roll please, December the 6th, 2006, Phillies acquire Freddie Garcia from the Chicago White Sox for prospects Gio Gonzalez and Gavin Floyd. You guys remember this thing. This was the trade that was allegedly going to put the Phillies over the top. Now, let's talk about the trade, the people going out first. Gio Gonzalez and Gavin Floyd. So Gonzalez was acquired actually by the Phillies from the White Sox in the Aaron Rowan trade for Jim Thome, about maybe a year before that. And then the Phillies decided to send Gonzalez back to the White Sox. Gavin Floyd, of course, was the other half of Cole Hamels when he was coming up. Gavin Floyd actually was sent up through the system faster than Hamels. Now, Hamels had that injury. Then he break his hand in a bar fight in Florida, set him back a little bit when he was in the minors. But this was the trade that was supposed to be the solidification of the next ace of the Phillies. Now, Freddie Garcia at the time was that all that in a bag of chips. He was ace material, hero of the 2005 World Series when he was with the White Sox. Throughout his career, a 2-time All-Star, again, World Series champion in 05, was also the AL ERA leader in 01, spent time in Seattle, originally came up with Seattle, and then he spent time, and to solidify his time with the White Sox, was a 17-game winner in 2005 or 6, with the White Sox. And the Phillies at the time thought they were grabbing the steal of the century. sending prospects Gavin Floyd, who in his time with the Phillies was very underwhelming. Matter of fact, quite horrible. It's terrible for the Phillies. I think something along the lines of, compiling ERAs of somewhere north of 10 was his end state in his time, kind of pieced together over a few seasons, 2 seasons, I believe. Spent most of his time down there with Scranton, but I believe he was 1-2 with a 10.04 ERA and 6-9 with a 6.16 ERA in 24 games, respectively, both for the Phillies and the Red Barons in 2006. Just wasn't working out. So the Phillies thought they were maneuvering themselves for an established ace of a pitcher in Freddie Garcia. So they sent prospect Gavin Floyd and prospect Gio Gonzalez, who honestly, out of all these players, probably ended up having the best career. Gonzalez would go on and be a 2-time All-Star in 2011 and 12, and also lead the NL in wins in 12. Mainly his success came with the Washington Nationals after he left Chicago. But the Phillies jettisoned off of 2 prospects for Freddie Garcia, who would come in and pitch 11 starts before landing on the DL with a shoulder injury and then subsequently getting released at the end of the 2007 season. So there you have it. Number 10. The Freddie Garcia to the from the White Sox for Gavin Floyd and Gio Gonzalez. This goes down, and I remember when the Phillies made this move, because at that time you got to understand, the Phillies were posturing themselves for a run. I mean, they were assembling pieces. Aaron Rowan was a huge part of this team. I thought that might have been one of the best trades in Phillies history. But, with the young players like Howard coming up, Utley was surrounding in the form, Rollins was taken off. I mean, they were smelling themselves a little bit, and they were trying to find the right recipe. And obviously starting pitching was the next nut to crack, because they didn't have really anything in that rotation. And they envisioned, I think, Freddie Garcia doing what ended up being, Cole Hamels, but Freddie Garcia was supposed to be that piece, that anchor in that rotation for the Phillies. And boy, what an epic collapse that was. This could be higher on other people's lists. It could have been higher on my list, but I figured, you know what? Let's come out from the top ropes. Let's come swinging off the top ropes with this one. A horrible trade. Again, 11 games, 12 games is all he lasted for in his Phillies career. And just bad. It's just a real bad trade. So there you go. Number 10 of MattyB's worst trades in Phillies history, Freddie Garcia for Gavin Floyd and Gio Gonzalez to the White Sox back in 2006. And we're off and running. Tomorrow, we'll go number 9 and then subsequently 1 after that. So there you have it. I did it. All right, we're off and running. We're doing the list. Matty, you're my spell. Thank you, Barbara. I don't know how to take that. Gavin Floyd was good. Yeah, but listen, to the Phillies' credit, he was not good here. Or the Phillies just didn't have enough patience for him. I thought he was brought up too early. I remember when they brought him up, I was like, I don't know, man. And he got bounced around. I mean, they shellacked him when he first got up. And I honestly, I thought he was ruined after they brought him up. I thought the Phillies rushed him up, and then he got destroyed up here. I thought his career was in ruins. He went on to have a really good career after he left Philadelphia. He was an anchor on the back end of that White Sox rotation for like 7 years. Then he bounced around after that towards the end of his career. But for 7 strong, solid years, he was like the number 4 pitcher in that White Sox rotation. This, of course, is before the wheels completely fell off the White Sox as an organization. But he's had a solid career. Matter of fact, there was a time Gio Gonzalez and Gavin Floyd were spectacular for the White Sox in the rotation together before they moved off of Gonzalez. But boy, and I remember watching all that. And this was all happening when the Phillies were making their run in 08, 07, 09. And I kept thinking, wow, if we would have been able to keep hold of them too. Cliff Lee doesn't come here. Probably. Well, maybe Cliff Lee comes here, but Jimmy Moyer doesn't come here. Joe Blanton doesn't come here. I don't know. Does that change our trajectory? Do we win more World Series if we had Gio Gonzalez and Gavin Floyd in our rotation during that time? Do we not win a World Series? It makes you wonder, man. And that's how these trades are. Most of them never really amount to much, but there's that one or two that affect completely a team's trajectory. And I think that was one of them for the Phillies and for the White Sox. I mean, not so much for the White Sox, but definitely for the Phillies. Freddie Garcia was a massive failure. I remember him. Man, he was. And there was a lot of hype around that guy, boy. A lot of hype. Floyd was good with the Whites, I believe. What? Floyd was good with the Whites. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, my God. Was Gio? Yes, Gio Gonzalez originally went from Oakland. He went from Oakland. No, he was drafted by the White Sox. Then he ended up going to Oakland in a trade, I believe, Ryan Sweeney trade. And Ryan Sweeney, along with Gonzalez, went to Oakland. And I think it was the Nick Swisher trade that sent Swisher to the White Sox. That's, I think, the trade. That's how he ended up in Chicago. Then he went to Philly. Then the Phillies traded him back to Chicago because he was part of the Aaron Rowan deal too. So I believe that's how it went down. I could be wrong. Fact check me if you want. But what the hell does that mean? Come on, Joe. What are you talking about? All right. So there you have it. We did not do our of the night segment. We did not do the card review. Those will wait till tomorrow. They'll wait. But I got to get through the of the night because we're getting close to the NHL draft, and I got to get through these draft prospects. But good show tonight, folks. Hour and 23 minutes. And I ranted and raved for almost an hour about the Phillies and about the wash and repeat that is the Philadelphia Phillies. We talked Eagles schedule release or Eagles schedule leak. And I'm not feeling two out of the three. And I hope that's not a harbinger for the rest of the schedule. But I'm not feeling Eagles Bears on Black Friday. I am feeling Eagles Commanders on Saturday, December 20th. And I'm not feeling Eagles Cowboys as a season opener. I think that's a huge miss by the NFL when you had so many other possibilities that you could have went for Eagles there. And we also talked some, of course, we did our MattyB's worst Phillies trades of all time list. Started that tonight. So very productive show, I think. Gio best. Yeah, he was. I think he was definitely the best with the Nationals when he went to Washington after his second stint with the White Sox. In a few weeks, I want to see the greatest Phillies trade. Absolutely, we can do that. We can do top 10 greatest Phillies trades. And I already have a couple right off the top of my head. I'll even throw out Steve Carlton, Kurt Schilling. Let me see. Give me another one. Give me Steve Carlton, Schilling. Carlton might be one. Might be the first one on the list. Might be a number one. We'll work on that. We'll work on that, Joe. But yes, we will do the greatest trades in Phillies history here in a couple weeks. Done deal. I'll put that on the calendar. All right, everybody. It's a great night. A short week of the final word this week is I will only be doing 2 episodes tonight and tomorrow, and then post games and other stuff are going to pull my attention away for the rest of the week. But we're going to make the best we can, make the most out of these 2 shows. So please make sure you're back tomorrow night, immediately following the Fightins final. I will be back for the final word. And then all the other great programming we have here on the network and all the great stuff that we provide the local Philadelphia community here on this program. So it's been a pleasure talking with you. And I hope you guys, as I say all the time, night to you as well, Barbara. You guys have a great rest of your night and an even better tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow night. Take care.